And welcome to this album with me, William Han. It's the podcast where each episode a guest and I will deep dive an album of their choice. It could be any artist, it could be any genre, well, it could be any year. And we're going to discuss the songs, we're going to discuss the shows. Jamie, we're going to discuss the artwork. But what I really want to know is where my guest first heard the album of choice and the emotional attachment that they have to the record. And if all goes to plan, we're probably going to have a bit of a laugh while doing it. Well, today, I'm joined by a man behind some of the greatest and realest folk anthems of modern times. He's from the second best city in the world. He loves a weekend in paradise. And he looks absolutely knackered from running round the sun. It's Jamie Webster.
What's happening, Will? Thanks very much for having me, pal.
An honour, a pleasure, a privilege. How are you, lad?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's nice to come down in the smoke and, down to the smoke when it's nice and sunny.
It's always like this down south, every single day.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Once you get just past that toll, isn't it? I believe
that's what happens. I believe. Yeah.
No, it's nice to come back. I don't come down here as much because, internet now, you don't have to do all of that sort of thing, do you? But
look at us, face to face, in person.
I prefer it though. I prefer being sat on the couch with you, do you know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more, Jamie.
Screen. So,
a pleasure to have you here, boy.
Yeah, so we've had the early part of the afternoon in Soho, which is an unusual afternoon for me, definitely. And now here we are.
Have you got an unusual evening ahead of you, Jamie?
I drive back to, just the M6 really, yeah. So not as unusual as others.
Sounds about normal.
Yeah.
You had a good summer so far, Jamie? Shall we pick apart festival season a bit?
Yeah, so I've had, started the festival season with Neighbourhood Festival, which is up north, and that was great. I headlined the big top tent. It was nice to be back out there with the band, because the last time I think I was out there properly with the band was last festival season, because all my tours this winter have been acoustic ones, so it was nice to be back with the band for that, and leaning into, we played Donny Fest, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a festival in Doncaster.
Where do they get these crazy names from, man? Yeah.
And it was on the pitch in the footy stadium there, which was quite cool.
Yeah.
So I'm taking that off as my first stadium. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I was going to ask, how comfortable are you in stadium shows? Was that the first one so far?
Yeah, I've done a lot of outdoor shows. Well, yeah, enough now and made stage festival stuff to have me in good stead and the crew in good stead. But great show, first time playing in Doncaster. Not many people I know. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's another city, and or is it a city or a town? I'm not sure. But it was.
Has it got a cathedral?
I didn't even see it. I seen the football stadium, which was shortly outside of it.
Sure.
But the people were great. The gig was great, and then coming back into this weekend just gone, I had 3 hometown gigs in 24 hours.
Tell me more about this, Jamie.
Yeah, so it was in Blackstone Warehouse, which it's usually for raves, and the only sort of other band that have ever played there who aren't an actual band in Kneecap, obviously it's a DJ and vocal stuff, so again, it's more electronic theme, so I think I might be one of the first, if not the first, bands to actually, with the guitar, play it. So we done 3 shows across 2 days, and we actually done a Saturday night show, and we had then a Sunday matinee show, which was for kids of all ages. So it was a family show. So we had 3,500 kids essentially.
What?
And it was
the sugar levels must have been through the roof.
Yeah, but the energy levels with it was the enthusiasm of the youngsters and stuff like that. And I was getting so many messages saying that like parents bringing the kids to the first concert and stuff like that.
That's amazing, man. You're going to set these kids off.
Yeah, hopefully, or buy an album. But no, it was great to see it. It's one of them moments where you feel like it's good for the soul at the time. It's just one of my proudest things I've ever done. I think was playing that gig for the kids in Liverpool, and then we had another Sunday night show, then with Reverend and the Makers supporting, which was unbelievable. Yeah. And so the 3 of them in 24 hours. I didn't have a voice yesterday at all. But
we've timed this quite well, haven't we?
Yeah,
back to it today.
Yeah,
thank God.
To it today. But no, it's been electric. The gigs, all 3 of them were amazing. And my next one now is Kendall Corlin main stage in a few weeks' time. It's not. I've got 2 festivals in Canada next week.
Oh, great. Wow.
I'm flying out to Canada in a couple of days.
Full band or just a cooey?
Acoustic.
Yeah.
It's the Winnipeg Folk Festival and then the Ottawa Blues Festival, which would be cool because you've got like Royal Oaters, the Australian Dope Lemon.
I don't know Dave Lemon. What's the vibe there?
Australian. It's sort of like spoken word over like really cool, groovy sort of backing tracks. It's cool. He's from Australia. His name's Angus Stone, but his band's called Dope Lemon. So
sounds pretty Aussie.
yeah, it's cool though. Do you know what I mean? It really is. And
it's always nice to get a bit of homework doing this, Jamie. So thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing them. There's a great song called Marinade by Dope Lemon.
I'll check it out.
Lyrics
Nice one.
Lyrics are brilliant.
And I see you doing Reading and Leeds this year as well.
Just Leeds.
Just Leeds?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, the first time they haven't actually flip-flopped the whole lineup.
Right, I didn't realise that.
It was in a sort of last minute sort of announcement really. It come in quite late and I assumed it was Reading and Leeds, but it's just Leeds, unfortunately, really, because
Sorry, Reading.
I've played Reading and Leeds main stage before and I loved it. I played. Like I was expecting, obviously, because I'm a northern, and I was thinking, Leeds is going to be the one where it's more rowdy, but I couldn't pull them apart. They were both, it was amazing. So, I really like doing that. So yeah, festival season's been good. Obviously, get back from Canada and Kendall Call, and then Leeds, and then I'm off on UK tour in September, US and Canada tour in October, and then I'll be doing a small in-store run.
What are you doing an in-store for, Jamie? You got anything you're releasing?
Well, running round the sun at the Zad.
Running round the sun, album 4 coming this...
Album 4 coming
September
the 4th. So I'll be playing in-store shows related to that in November.
Great.
And then I'm in Australia then in December. So
amazing. All systems go.
It is. My wife will be, she'll be
lonely.
She'll be missing me.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble.
She's actually in Crete now at a wedding. So,
busy people.
Yeah.
Busy people.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky enough to listen to the new album, Jamie. May I say congratulations. It's easy to say this because you're my guest, but it's your best work yet. I genuinely mean that. I think you should be dead proud of it. Would you like to hear my favourite songs on the album?
I would, I really would.
I'll be honest to tell you. Ode to Me and You, which sounded really Art and Garfunkel to start with, and then went somewhere completely different. Loved it. The guitar sounded the most luscious ever sounded on your records, I think. And Small Town Life, which I thought just sounded huge. It sounded so much bigger than something you'd done before. It reminded me of The War on Drugs. And you know a band called Dive? D-I-I-V?
I'll do some homework.
Yeah, the guitar sounded like Dive to me, which is like, worlds away from what you normally sound like, I think. So it was a big step forward, Jamie. Tell me a bit about the album.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like, it's sort of, when I'd done my last album, 10 for the People, it was like, okay, we've done 3 albums in maybe 4 years or something like that. Like, it's time to take the foot off the gas and just enjoy the live shows and, just write freely rather than with a project in mind. And that's what it did. And then all of a sudden it was like, we need an album. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'd sort of had pieces of it together here and there. And throughout the 2-year period, which is the longest I've been, I think, without releasing an album since I started releasing, I had the first real feelings of, when people say, the dreaded second album, well, I sort of felt that after me third, where it was I don't really know where to go here. And I started questioning, because it had been so long, towards the end of the cycle of writing, I felt like I'd been so long out of the cycle of touring and releasing that I'd sort of lost my gauge on what was good and what was bad, and it had a real effect on me, to be honest. It was the first time I've ever really, because at the start you're just concentrating on the ride and you're just absolutely blown away by what's happening. You can't believe it's happening to you, and you're just on to the next, and it's like walking up this crazy ladder of euphoria. And then you get to a point where it's sort of like, it reaches a level, and then you start thinking, well, what if I can't get to the next level? Because I've got time, because the first time ever I had time to think about it. It's like, what if you can't get to the next level? Well, what if you can't even maintain this level? And then, where are you going to be in 5 years' time? This life that you've got now, is it going to look different? And you start, all of a sudden, I'm starting to question whether I'm going to be back on the building sites and stuff like that. And it was the first time I've really, maybe sunk into a really, I would say, maybe a long state of depression. And, in and out, I suppose you'd have lifts and you'd think you're out of it for a couple of weeks. And I think the songwriting within the album sort of reflects periods of where I've been up and where I've been down. You know, small town life and Oh To Me and You is clearly like me defiance period where I'm like, you know, can I swear?
Get stuck in.
Fuck everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like all the doubters, everything. You know, fuck it. This is about me and the fans and the journey that we've created so far, and it's just about extending that journey and, you know, being who we are and being the people that we are from the places that we are. And, you know, if people don't like that, well, that's their problem at the end of the day. And then there's periods where I'm sort of, you know, there's songs like Lewis calls it the cherry on top, but it's called Everybody's Got a Love. And it's like periods of where I was literally, and King of Queens, which is it's sort of me writing myself out of ruts that I'm in and maybe trying to give myself in the song a reason to carry on with it, you know what I mean? And I'm not talking like carry on, you know what I mean? Like to carry on with the journey and put your faith back in yourself and how to do that. So with Everybody's Got What I Love, it's exactly that. What do I do to get back to me? It's love, live, you know what I mean? Be with the people that matter, you know what I mean? Do normal things, go and walk the dog, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Do what you enjoy. And then, you know, King of Queens, again, it's about me troubles with the, you know, I'm questioning whether the industry has any plans for me because I don't really get radio play, I don't really get television, I don't really get even support slots, really. Do you know what I mean? I've never really had a full support sort of a big arena band or anything like that. I think
you'd be such a great support slot. You make sense for so many big
I like to think so as well, but you know, I don't know whether that's down to promoters. I don't know whether that's down to the actual artists themselves. Do you know? And you just question, like, you know, look, you know, I've done gigs of 30,000 people. Do you know what I mean? I don't really, you know, and it's question. You just think, well, if they're not on board by now, are they ever going to be on board? And so in songs,
but you fucking show them, right?
Yeah, well, that's
you get to fucking play to 30,000 people.
But that's it. And I just thought in this album, it's a vulnerable side of me, but with the same sort of social commentary that I've always had. And it, you know, I'm not giving people lessons because I don't take myself that seriously, but I'm giving people something to hang on to, maybe a reason to think that something could change. Do you know what I mean?
But you got lived experience now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And even in songs like Turning Point, it's literally me talking about not being in good standard with me health and stuff like that, you know, eating the wrong things.
Sure, you know, I thought the line was really funny. I like that.
You know, feeling ill from all the shit I eat. And it's just, you know, it's a bit more personal, a bit more vulnerable, but then when it comes back to me, bringing it back to everyday life and something that you can take from life, you know, with you know, songs like Just Begun, you know, we feel like we're getting older. It's like, nah, you can still got a fair run of the grain. You can still do everything you want to do. Go and enjoy it. Go and be yourself. And then songs like Wherever You Are, and it's like, look, I'll help you in this song. You know, we're together in this song. We're together through it all. We all go through the same things. We all walk the same lines. Obviously, I have me big political moment with VAT at the end, which is, you know, a slice of Jamie Webster that, you know, I even expected myself. Do you know what I mean? That, like,
there's always going to be one of them in the back
there's
pocket.
Always going to be one of them. And, you know, that's just a song for how I see the world and, you know, the questions I've got. But yeah, there's so much on there that, like, I think if you're a normal person from whether it's London, Liverpool, Leeds, Livingston, do you know what I mean? Anywhere in the world, you know, New York, anywhere. If you're a normal person from humble beginnings,
you're going to find something in this.
You're going to find relativity. You're going to find something in it that goes, oh, that's me. Or if it's not you, that's someone from down the road, or the fella on the corner, or the woman on the bus, or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's just that if you've walked that line, it documents the joys, the struggles, the escapes, and the trials and tribulations of the life that we all live and the line that we all walk. And I've just tried to do it in a more... I sort of tried to go back to basics and be a bit more, like I say, be a bit more raw with it and yeah, bigger. Do you know,
bigger.
Like you said,
mission accomplished.
Sounds, yeah,
well done, brother. Well done.
Very much.
We were talking a bit off mic about like taking pride in where you're from. Tell me a bit about your home and why it's so important to you, Jamie.
Well, it shaped me to where I am. I've learnt my life lessons there. So it's that simple. I've learnt so much about other people, but also about myself growing up there. And, you know, it's somewhere that I always feel safe. It's somewhere that I always feel welcome. And it's it's somewhere that I always feel proud as well. You know, I like to look at where the city's been and where it is now, and you know, just on when you walk along the waterfront in Liverpool now, it's amazing. You know, from the liver buildings right the way down to Otterspool, it's fantastic. And you know, they're now working on the north end, and it's just to see people grow up there, to see what your friends are doing now. You know, all of the, and I think just the spirit of the people that you've grew up around, and you know, I can feel, and I feel that, like, and I think everyone feels like that because of where they're from. But I feel I'm ahead of the game being from where I'm from. Do you know, because of the street smarts that you'd have to have in a place like Liverpool, but also, you know, I also feel like I'm ahead because I've got so much support being from a place like Liverpool, of me own people, and yeah, and also, you know, musically speaking, the best band to ever grace the planet. The Beatles.
Echo and the Bunnymen. That's right, yeah.
Well, Ian McCulloch's a good mate of mine.
Is he?
Yeah,
Shout out to him.
Performed on stage with me. Yeah, he's in
Oh, class, didn't know that. So.
Yeah, at Sefton Park. We done Nothing Lasts Forever, and I've actually had him in the studio doing a version of it with me, which was unbelievable to record him singing that song, let me tell you. When he sang them first lines, it was like, wow. But yeah, the Beatles are just...
Pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah. God,
pretty good, that lot.
It's moving on. Like, you just listen to the Beatles and you just think, what chance has anyone else got? And I also think about that in the album that we're here to talk about as well.
That sounded like a good segue to me, Jamie.
It did.
Shall we?
Yeah, we shall, mate.
Why don't you tell us which album we are discussing today, please, my friend?
So, the album that I'd love to talk about, and big respect to you as well, because I know that's been spoke about on this show before, but I think it's so iconic and it's so influential to me that it couldn't have been anything else, and that is Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, by the Arctic Monkeys.
Fucking get in there.
And yeah, it's just fucking sublime.
I'm feeling a bit tense, actually, Jamie, now you mention it. I'm feeling a bit tense about it. So tense, never tenser, because today we are discussing one of the greatest musical exports that this or any country has ever produced. Arctic Monkeys' 2006 debut album, Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not, completely changed the music industry. And it's widely considered to be not just one of the greatest debuts of all time, it's quite possibly one of the greatest albums of all time. So let's press star. Let's press unlock. Let's drink tropical reefs with tracky bottoms tucked in socks. Adjust that trilby, hide from boys in blue, put on your favourite Topshop top. If not, we'll have to have two. Please just stop talking. Well, that wouldn't make for a good podcast, would it? Shall we get on with the show, or does anticipation have a habit to set you up? 24 hours notice, man. 24 hours. How was that? Was that all right?
That was
all right?
That was special.
Done. I'm knackered now, so you're going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here, I'm afraid, Jamie.
No
tell me about when Arctic Monkeys first entered your orbit, please.
It must have been around the time of the album coming out, I suppose. It was 2006, so I'm in...
What a year.
Yeah, I'm in like first year seniors. Do you know what I mean? And I'm starting to like meet people who actually play music. I was, when I was younger, I didn't really like want to play guitar. My mum wanted me to play guitar because she said I'd thank her one day, and you know,
cheers, mum.
Thanks, mum. Yeah. But I wanted to, you know, I was into the Pleasure Rooms, which was a big DJ MC thing in Liverpool at the time.
It's funny, I had the same thing. I was that side first, then went indie. Yeah,
Eminem,
same thing.
You know what I mean? 50 Cent. It was I was that, and I wanted to play football as well. I just wanted to be a footballer. I was never good enough, but you know, we all dreamed, didn't we? You know what I mean? Yeah. But so yeah, I remember like going to that school and a first meeting like people who liked music, and it like, because it was in the south end of the city, I'm from the north end of the city, and I was like, whoa, some of these, like, I had a skinhead, you know what I mean, when I was in school, and some of these lads had really long hair, and like, we're, you know, on the dinner time, they were going into the music room and playing guitar instead of playing footy, and I was like, well, this is different.
What are these weirdos up to?
Yeah, well, you know, it was different, and then, you know, you start like, you know, you're in class with some of them, you know, I'm a chatty guy, as you can tell, and we start talking about things, and then they start like, listen to this song, listen to that song, so I was going home, finding them on the computer, and, you know, I remember I'd like to start, you could go chronologically with this, whatever, track by track, but like the song that got me was When the Sun Goes Down, and it was just, I think it's probably the most important track in terms of the topic that he's talking, because he's talking.
It's quite playful, the rest of the album, apart from that one,
it's
isn't
more
it?
about, the rest of the album's more like teenage kicks, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
yeah.
But like, this song was, and it's the same way like the Bob Dylan, who was my guru, first got in around the same period was when I heard the Hurricane, and I was like, wow, this story. It was always about the story for me. That's why I like rap music and stuff like that. It was always about the story. And this story, he's talking about this degenerate sort of, pimp-ish or, horrible man and, talking about, making girls put on the... Just so many lyrics in that song that just, like, absolutely just put images in your head.
That's right.
Do you know
can
what
see
I mean?
it all, can't you?
Yeah, and it's just, like... It changes when the sun goes down. It was almost in a way like woke me up to the nighttime of life. Do you know what I mean? Because you are very young at that point. I'm 11, 12, and I'm just starting to learn about you're learning about other things in life. When you're in primary school, it's sunshine and rainbows in it. Let's have it right. And just the intro in itself. Well, I wonder what went wrong. So she had to run. It's all not quite legitimate. It's and it's just straight away, like the first question, I wonder what went wrong. He was 16, 17 at the time, and for him to have them questions, it was just, I think it was just sort of a lesson for anyone who listens to that song as to what was to come with the Arctic Monkeys lyrically. It was just so powerful. But that was the song that woke me up to them, and then you sort of go through the album then at the time, and I remember they played the Cavern Club in Liverpool, and
amazing.
There was
They still got it up then. The guitar's still up there, isn't it?
I didn't go to the gig, but I remember seeing footage from it, and it was like, and I remember like people in school going to town after school to see that gig and stuff, to try and get in, and it was cute. It was like this, and then all of a sudden, every time you turned on the radio, there they were. Do you know? It was like this big explosion right around the time of me. So. Going into the album, View from the Afternoon, it's Elders and Turner all the way, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's just that, and the chemistry that them two have is just evident from the first moment of the record. It's just frightening. I know, but I don't think I could play that tight with me band, and I've played with them for 7 years. Do you know what I mean? These are kids, and it's just. The power and anticipation. It's about prior to going on a night out, isn't it? It's about the excitement of what could potentially happen on a night out, and you want to be sort of familiar, but you want new things to happen. You want it to be with the same faces but with different people, and it's also about the courage, picking up the courage of that girl that you're open to see on the night out. When you see her and nothing happens, do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, I just love the refrain when it says, when the 2-for-1's undone the writer's block, and it's about like you've just, you've had that much ale that you've finally plucked up the courage to send that message to the girl who's been stood in front of you all fucking night, and in the end, you're only telling how pissed you are anyway. Do you know what I mean? And that's literally what does, and you just, that's that theme. I think it sort of does set the manifesto, if you like, for the album, because it's about being a young adolescent, isn't it? Going into sort of your late teens, early 20s, going out for the first time, taking drugs for the first time, drinking for the first time, and then, whatever else happens. But he's so sarcastic and ironic and everything in it. And yeah, what a way to start a record. I
think I can wrap up the podcast there, Jamie. I think we're done. That was great. That was class. How big an impact has Alex Turner had on you fashion-wise?
Fashion-wise, I wouldn't say that, I haven't got the bottle to do that, I think me growing my hair this long was is still a big talking point for...
It's a target on your back, isn't it?
For where I'm from,
exactly.
You know what I mean? I think in Liverpool we've always sort of followed our own footsteps with fashion. So
Yes, you have.
you know, I'll take musical advice from him. But and he's a very stylish dude as well. Look, I'm not here to slag off Alex.
Sure.
He's one of the coolest men on the planet, and I think he might be the only guy who my wife loves more than me.
You got to take that on the chin,
Yeah,
really.
she's got like Arctic Monkeys tattoos and stuff like that. She she loves them. Like she like when he gets a new girlfriend, she's like, I think she's a really good match for him. You know, like she's like she loves him that much. But yeah.
Well, at least she's supportive of his relationships. What would be the perfect setting to listen to this album, Jamie? Where are we? Who are we with? Paint a scene for me.
Ideally, you know, you're a 17, 18-year-old kid, you know, going out with your mates and going to see it live. You know what I mean? It's just that energy. Just you want to sing along, you want to bounce. You don't like. I listen to it now for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah,
so like maybe on a run. Do you know what I mean?
That'll do it.
Give me that spring in me step. You know, if I'm speaking now. We actually, when we were last on tour, Lewis, who's like my tour manager, security, one of my best mates.
He's watching the door today, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an all-in-one. Everything under one roof.
Can't help but notice not one person's burst in yet. He's good at his job, isn't he?
Everything under one roof you get with Lewis. He's an absolute diamond. But he'd heard, you know, the big songs off the album, but I was explaining to him about this album being an amazing body of work. And we were in Rockfield, staying in the coach house while we were on tour, because I'm friendly with Lisa and Kingsley and all of them who run Rockfield Studios. So we stay there when we can if they've got the space. And we had it on in the kitchen and just listen to it from start to finish, and even just the energy, just be with someone who shares that passion for music with you, and lyrics and energy and sound, and just, you know, someone who's going to go there with you, do you know what I mean, and be fully immersed in it with you.
So I'm interested in this. You think it's better listened to collectively rather than solitary? I
mean, I'd say the pendulum swings both ways evenly. Do you know what I mean?
You can't lose.
No, you can't lose.
You can't lose. Tell me a bit about watching Arctic Monkeys live. When did you first see them? Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them a few times. The first time was just at the Humbug tour in 2009.
Nice.
And going back to When the Sun Goes Down, when he's a scumbag, don't you know? And he holds it, you know, obviously. He held that in the arena. It must have been longer than a minute. Yeah. And the noise was just everyone waiting for him to go. Said he's a scumbag. And I have never felt like... I've literally, you know what I mean? That moment of being, again, I was, maybe 15 at the time, 14, 15, being in the arena and with me mates and just absolutely, you know, underage drinking. Do you know what I mean? Smuggled in Capri Sun bottles and all of that. You know what I mean? Like
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, and fake ID to get pints from the fellas who sell them walking around. And just that moment when it was just like we were all petrol, and he just dropped the match. Do you know what I mean? It just pop. And I've probably never had an experience like that. I'm not saying it's the best gig I've ever been to, but I'm saying I've never had an experience like that at a gig since. It was a time when you were just, you know, the age I was at, it was just like, it was everything at the time. That moment of him dropping into the band part and, you know, just, you know.
I'm with you. I'm right there, Jamie.
When people say, I'd never go back and do anything, you know, I'm happy, you know, I would go back
in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, any day of the week, it was special.
I've seen him in your city, actually. I saw him in the Echo Arena on the AM tour. It was a really special night. Well, it's weird because Lou Reed had died the night before and they'd done a cover that day. Unbelievable. That's the only time they played it and I was there. I chose the right night.
Funny enough, I was an electrician at that time, and I was an apprentice electrician, and the electrician I was working with, Gary, he went and he showed me the video of it in the van
Gary smashed it.
Yeah, Gary smashed it.
Shout out to Gary. To think I might have had my arms around him during that moment.
Could have done.
Could have done it. There was a Gary, yeah. How often do you come back to this album, Jamie? And how well do you think it's aged?
It's aged so well that I'll answer the second question first, and then it's aged so well that every time I come back to it, to me it feels better and better, and it feels like, for me, it consolidates. For me, it's the best UK debut album, maybe since Please Please Me. You know what I mean? I can't put them above the Beatles.
Are you listening, Paul McCartney?
I can't.
Can you hear us?
I can't put them above the Beatles because, you know, I just can't. It's blasphemy. But I'd say since 1965, you know, it's the best debut album. Certainly the best UK debut album. You know, and I know that's a bold statement, but
right, it's a bold album.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You know, even songs like Riot Van, like we used to just go and get chased just for the sake of going to get chased, and we used to give, like, when we were pissed underage and the police would stop us on the streets and he'd be like, where's your ale, where's whatever, we'd say, oh mate, you're so unlucky, you know, if you'd have pulled round that corner before, you'd have seen me throwing that in the bushes there, knowing that we hadn't thrown it in the bushes, and we'd make them go and look in the bushes anyway, and then we'd get a slapping anyway, do you know what I mean? And like, it was like, you know, that was like songs like Riot Van. You know, I've got to mention, mate, I've got to just to
get it out.
What was the first question? Sorry, I was nearly done a tangent there without asking you questions.
How often do you revisit the album?
Quite often, to be honest.
Often.
If I'm going to any Arctic Monkeys album, I do think it's that one. For me, it's the most. You know, AM is an absolute, you know, commercial masterclass. But for the rawness and how real that album is, for me, it's something that I go back. I think I'll just go back. I go to a lot of. I couldn't even tell you how frequently. Sorry for all that mumbling, but that's how overwhelming, like, of an album it really is. Yeah. And I go back to it whenever I'm in the mood to be up. Do you know what I mean? We literally listened to it on the way down here in the car. I could potentially, after talking about it so much now, go and put it on the way home.
The M6,
and but I've got to talk about. I mean, there's so many amazing lyrics on it.
Hit me with it. What's the best lyrics on this album, Jamie?
Who the fuck rhymes Montagues and Capulets with banging tunes and DJ sets?
The man is operating on a different level, Jamie. He's
like,
operating on a different level.
To quote like what I said about the Beatles, what fucking chance has any of us got? What chance have we got? What 17-year-old seriously is referencing Shakespeare to banging tunes and DJ sets? Tell me, what Spotify's kid and shit?
You don't get two of them.
It's just how in what world? You know what I mean? In what fucking world? Do you know what I mean? Like, someone showed that to Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? That's like modern Dylan to me. That's just alien. You know, he's got to be a Scientologist or something like that. He's got to be, you know, he's got to be
something kind of up, is it?
Yeah, he's got to be from like what they say, a prison planet or something. He's being sent here to just show us like how to all right, because that's just a joke. It's just like
he's ruined it.
He's fucking ruined. He's ruined. Right, like you know, I write songs and I'm like,
what am I doing?
It's not quite Montagues and Capulets. Do you know what I mean? It's not, you know. But he's outstanding. And you know, not only him. Do you know what I mean? You know, Jamie Cook, married to a Scouser. He's obviously got impeccable.
Knows taste. What he's doing, doesn't he?
He's got impeccable taste.
I've got to mention, actually, that's a good segue. My dad's married to a Scouser.
Another man with impeccable taste.
Impeccable taste. I've been an honorary Scouser for nearly 20 years now.
Welcome,
don't let this accent fool you. All right, I've got leverage on the Wirral. Let me tell you.
I've got band members who live on the Wirral and stuff like that.
If they want to go over Pensby for a pint over my dad's house, they're more than welcome.
Nice. Yeah, it's right.
Cup of tea and a bicky.
Right. Lovely.
That's an ongoing
Loads
offer.
of nice beaches over that side.
There are. I've run along a few. Yeah, pretty class.
Dog walks over there.
Pretty class.
It's right.
Shout out to the Wirral.
Yeah.
Is Arctic Monkeys' best song on this album?
For me personally, their two best songs are on this album.
Tell me what these two best songs are.
At number 2, it's Fake Tales of San Francisco.
Okay.
You know, just the whole thing. And I've actually got a bit of an insight as to, you know, the line.
Both looked up then, hang on, this is going to be big, isn't it?
So
Here we
the
go.
line, where he says the weekend rock stars are in the toilet practicing their line. I have it on good authority that's about a Liverpool band from way back when, who actually played in the same venue as them, and one of the singers was literally practicing in the toilets, and the guitarist was having a line. And I don't know how true that is. It might be urban folklore. That's something that I heard growing up in Liverpool, and I have it on good authority because that band did tour with the Killers and stuff like that, so it's quite possible that they could have crossed paths. I don't know anything else about it, you know, but that in particular is a thing. But, you know, his Bird said is amazing though, so all that's left is the proof that love's not only blind but deaf.
Are you kidding me?
Do you know what I mean?
Come on.
That could top Montagues and Capulets, to be honest with you. But then, you know, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? We've all been there at that wedding band or at that corporate event or that charity too, where the band are terrible and no one's fucking feeling it and everyone's dying to get out of there. But the fucking main woman who's put the event on, or the main fella who's put the event on, loves it. Or it's a friend's son from work and she's just known him since he's grown up and she's blinded by love, you know, and deafened by love as well, as he says. Do you know, and yeah, you know, it's amazing. But then to go back to he's stabbing at the people who were putting on the wedding. He's stabbing at the audience. He's stabbing at the band playing, and he goes back to give the band more shit by saying, "You're not from San Francisco. You're from Hunter's Bar. I'd love to tell you all me problem. You're not from New York City. You're from Rotherham. So get off the bandwagon and put down the handbook." It's just like, it's so like fucking on. It's so on the nose. It's so like what you're thinking at that. What everyone's thinking when he's saying it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what a fucking gangster. What an absolute Tony Soprano lyricist. You know what I mean? He's just, it's just annoying. But the best song is A Certain Romance.
Yes, it is.
It's A Certain Romance. It's the Arctic Monkeys' best song. Anyone who wants to have me a fight about it, fight Lewis, because I'm about as hard as a wet fart. But like, honest to God, it's, you know, the intro alone musically, before he's even sang a word, and then he just brings you into that relativity of classic Reeboks, and you're just like, I used to wear black Reebok workouts for school.
Fucking love.
Do you know what I mean?
Fucking
and
yes.
Then, you know, like, and also we called them, I don't know what they were called, whether they were just Reebok Classics or whatever, but there was like the skinny version of workouts, and we used to call them in Liverpool skinny bagheads. Right,
I've heard that phrase. What do I know that phrase?
Skinny bagheads. It's the type of Reebok. You might be able to find it somewhere on the internet where it is, but it was workouts and skinny bagheads. And I had a pair of black workouts for school, and I had a pair of black skinny bagheads for school as well. And I used to wear my white workouts and my white skinny bagheads on holiday. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid. And just to bring you back to that relativity of classic Reeboks and then tracky bottoms, so it's amazing from the off. And, you know, just to, you know, the kid who's had a couple of cans, but he thinks it's all right to act like a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, we've just seen it. We've seen every single lyric that he writes in that. We've seen it growing up. We've been in the bars. You know, just like with Ritz from the Rubble, you could see that walk up to the bouncers. You could see that, you know, and, you know, this town's a different town today than it was last night. You couldn't understand and ascended. Now the haze is ascended. You couldn't do that. It's just fucking, everything is just so real to anyone who's growing up at that time, you know, and anyone who's grown up at any time in like a city or a town. It's just like, in the UK, it's just, it might not be the most worldwide recognised album, but for me, growing up where I've grown up and like seeing the things that I've seen and being from the music scene, even when he's talking about, you know, perhaps vampires is a bit strong, but he's talking about
to that,
people from his area telling him, what, you've gone down there, you haven't even made any money, and he's like, nah, the fact that we've made our money back just to be able to go and play a gig, and we're doing something different, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, you know, talking the same old things all the time, and it's, I forgot what the lyric is in that song, but thinking about things but not actually doing things. That, you know, like that summarizes so many people sort of from the estate who are like, what are you doing all that for? What are you going over there and doing all that? You know, you fucking sound round here, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? And like, they want to keep you in that. And, like, you know, why? You know, he's actually going and doing it. It's just so adventurous, so ballsy, so, you know, it's just like, it's just fantastic. everything that he writes about in that album, I could see it growing up. You know what I mean? I've been in that room growing up. I've been in that exact situation with that exact imagery. I've thought the exact same thoughts that he's thinking, the questions that he's asking. I've asked them questions to myself and to other people. He's just, you know, not to discredit the rest of the band, but this album it lets you know that, you know, he's gonna be regarded as one of the greatest ever, even in them early days. Yeah. It's just frightening. It's frightening.
It was so clear from the off, wasn't it?
Yeah, but with a certain romance, it's just, you know, it's just a song that it makes me, even though he's writing it about Sheffield and stuff like that, it makes me think about Liverpool for some reason.
I get it.
There's a certain romance to every city, I suppose, and every place where you've been. And it's almost like the song that I was talking to you about off mic. It was like, it probably inspired me writing that song, which is like my second biggest song. Do you know what I mean? It's there's so much influence from his lyrics, from his delivery, from the energy in the songs and stuff like that. It's sometimes listening to the album, it does get me emotional. Like, you know, I find like tears of joy and euphoria just welling up in my eyes when it just takes you to places of, you know, of really good times. Do you know what I mean? It just reminds me of even though he's sort of writing about the harsh side of it, it's all experience in it, and it's all, you know, it's all a really good. You know, when you look back now, you look at it and go, well, that was fucking magic. Even though at the time we get knocked back by the bouncer and stuff like that, it was, you know, you felt about this big, but, you know, the fact that we even tried to get back here and called him a, you know, big dickhead and ran away or something like that, you know what I mean? It was, we got an adventure out of it, you know what I mean? And I've got, you know, got so many memories out of it, and just like, it even reminds me of when I got battered in town by a lot of lads, do you know what I mean? And me and my mate we ended up just like, both of us got knocked out, and we woke up, wiped our mouths and went for another pint and just carried on all night, you know what I mean? It was, you know, we were 18 years of age, and just that, it just summarises me wild, that it just reminds me of me wild years. Do you know, the years when, you know, 15 to 22 it was for me, really, do you know what I mean? When I was living that sort of life, and it's magic.
Is there anything about the album that we've not covered that you'd like to mention?
The artwork.
Tell me about the artwork.
So,
for the uninitiated, describe the artwork.
So, obviously, it's a picture of a guy with the ciggy in his mouth looking...
Yeah, whatever happened to him, by the way?
Well, this is where I'm going. So, I found out years later that guy was Steve Bracknell. Do you know what I mean? Who we all know as from the Royal Oak. He's out there in the World Cup with England now. And I also found out he's actually the brother of John from Reverend and the Makers.
Yes,
and
he is.
I also found out that picture was took in Liverpool.
Oh, right, I didn't think I realised that.
Yeah, okay. It was on a night out in Liverpool.
It gave him a wad of cash, didn't they, and said, go and get fucked up.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise it's Liverpool, that's interesting.
But also the photo shoot was booked for the next day. And from what I hear from it, and they took that picture literally of him on the night out the night before the big day. And even though they knew that they had the photo, they knew at that moment that was the shot.
Yeah.
But they still went out the next day and made them do the whole photo shoot as well, which is cool. But I just think, like, it's, for me at the time, it wasn't the artwork that was iconic. You know what I mean? It was the music and the words and the energy. But now when you go back and look at where Steve Bracknell is now, and you look at him there, and you just think, like, it's more powerful now. What Steve's real name is?
So John Reverend... John McClure?
Yeah, so what's his...
It's not Steve McClure, is it?
No, isn't it?
Troy McClure? No, that's something different. Chris McClure.
So his real name is Chris McClure, but we all know him as Steve Bracknell, and it's amazing. Like, you know, obviously, he was their mate who like, you know, they used to party with, and and then he's obviously not from that, but, you know, he's made this amazing career for himself now as Steve Bracknell, and I think it's made the artwork more iconic because because of the cult hero that Chris has became.
Yeah.
And obviously because I've got to know John as well, he's like one of the nicest guys in music, do you know what I mean? He's amazing. But it just, and you know, I was told it was done in Liverpool and all of that. And he spent a lot of time recording parts of that album in Liverpool as well, which I don't think a lot of people know. He did a lot of writing in Liverpool. I was big friends with Miles Kane.
What a city, eh?
Yeah, and so there's, and I think Liverpool and Sheffield probably.
Bit of kinship there, you reckon?
I think, you know, politically, like we align ourselves probably closer than any other two cities.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
You know, I think they're probably
great pubs in both cities.
Yeah, and
great music.
Yeah, historically, the biggest like Labour cities. Do you know what I mean? And, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing now, do you know what I mean? Or you know what it has been, but you know, not to go into that. But basically, I think it made it a lot more special for me over the years, hearing about, as I've got older, the relationship that it actually had to Liverpool. And yeah, it's just, it's funny how you find things out about the album after listening to it 500 times and it makes you love it more. Do you know, it's funny how music works and stories.
But it's funny, have you been to, what's it called? The British Music Museum in Liverpool. They've got an exhibition on about the album cover.
Yeah, is it still on now?
It was on about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I think whenever...
I'll tell you what, it was 40 fucking quid a ticket.
Yeah, I think when it was on, I was away somewhere and I missed like the
I think it's on for a while, but yeah, it's quite amazing. I didn't realise this actually until I got there. The photo was inspired by some like 1940s mugshot of some gangster, and it looks like the cover. And I hadn't seen that before. That was like new information to me, and I call myself a monkey's head.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
that's
if you can, go and pop
me,
over. It's really cool.
Yeah, I did hear about that, to be honest. But there was someone speaking at it. I think maybe it was
Andy Nicholson and Chris McClure.
Yeah, I think that's why that's the one that I missed.
Yeah, but the exhibition thing is still on, so it's worth your time. Yeah, worth your time, I reckon. So check it out.
Definitely.
We've covered a lot of ground here, but we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We've got one last feature up our sleeves. It's basically classic winner stays on kind of shit.
Okay.
I couldn't think of a funny name for it, but it's basically just best bands in Liverpool. All right, here we go. So winner stays on. Cast or Jerry and the Pacemakers?
Oh, you can't start me off with that one.
I'm starting off with Cast or Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Just like,
I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make content.
I've made friends with John Power and I've grew up singing You'll Never Walk Alone. You've put me between a fucking...
It doesn't get any easier, I can tell you.
You put me between an ice pick and a fucking pickaxe. I'm sure John will understand. Just simply for You'll Never Walk Alone. And Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying as well.
John, if you're listening.
I'm sorry, John.
I've really fucked this, haven't I? I'm a monster. I'm a monster.
That's
the end of the game.
You're making me enemies.
Jerry and the Pacemakers or the Zootons?
I've just done it again. I had Dave sing Valerie with me in Sefton Park literally 2 years ago. I was in Jersey Festival with him a couple of months ago. You know what? I'm going to have to say the Zootons, and here's why. Because Valerie, what it went to do globally.
Yeah.
Like, you know, from David, like, you know, you've got to give Dave his credit there. He's written one of the biggest songs in the world.
Of all time, yeah.
In the world. So for that, I've got to do it. You know what I mean? I've got to go with Dave.
Done. The Zootons or the Lars?
The Lars,
Wallop. No hesitation.
It's not that there's no hesitation. It's just that, like, the Lars were, for me, Mathers and that first album. It's just like, you know, that album. Sorry, should I say? It's just, you know, Timeless Melody is
pretty good stuff.
Yeah, son of a gun. You know, like, these are songs I grew up playing in the bars. Like, you know, when I was making my name for myself, like, you've got to, you know.
You've got to do the Lars.
And Looking Glass.
The Lars or Space?
The Lars.
Easy. The Lars or Atomic Kitten?
The Lars.
The Lars or Still a Black?
The Lars.
The Lars or Echo and the Bunnymen?
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Echo and the Bunnymen or the Lightning Seeds?
These, like, they're both good friends and I both know them all really well. Like Riley, who the Life of Riley was written about. Oh, God, I speak to him all the time. I share a drummer with the Lightning Seeds. For fuck's sake. Just because I'm going to have to go off, like, you know, for me, one of my favourite ever songs is Nothing Lasts Forever, and Mach wins. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ian. Mach wins.
The Lightning Seeds.
No, it was Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll try it again. Echo and the Bunnymen or Sporty Spice.
Echo and the Bunnymen.
Echo and the Bunnymen or the Coral.
Me manager's brothers at the Coral. I shared
Liverpool, wasn't it?
I shared a drummer with the Coral as well. You're fucking joking. We did listen to the Coral album on the way down here, the new one. If I'm being honest, it'd be a tie, but
it's not the way the game works.
It's not
mate.
the way the game works.
No.
I hope no one ever sees this podcast. I'm only joking, obviously. Shit. I genuinely don't know how to make this. I know it's meant to be quick fire, but you've got no. I'm weighing up like song versus song here. I know. You know what? I played that on the Pierhead with Jay Skelly. And I've covered it like growing up.
It sounds like it's the Coral, Jamie.
It's a tie, but yeah. I tell you what. Choose left or right hand. You're choosing this one, left or right hand?
Left hand.
That's the Bunnymen in that hand.
Echo and the Bunnymen or the Wombats?
Echo and the Bunnymen.
That was an easy one. Echo and the Bunnymen or SD Kid?
Timothy Chalamet, you mean?
Who?
There was a rumour that it was Timothy. No, Echo and the Bunnymen.
That was easy. Echo and the Bunnymen or the Beatles? The Beatles or Jamie Webster?
The Beatles.
Hey! Jamie, that's class. Well done. The floor is yours to plug or promote anything that's coming up in your world.
My new album, Running Round the Sun. I nearly forgot that then. My new album, Running Round the Sun, is coming out on the 4th of September, but it'd mean the world to me if you could go and pre-order it before that. You don't understand how much that helps artists like me, grassroots artists who are on independent labels. It really matters like what the fans do for us, so please pre-order the album. I'm also on tour from the 5th of September in the UK right through to the end of September. Have a look where I'm going. If I'm coming to a city near you, get yourself a ticket. And other than that, just be a nice person.
I've been William Han. He's been Jamie Webster. They were Arctic Monkeys. And this has been this album.
And it's been lovely. It's been absolutely lovely. Very much, mate. Cheers, lad.